Hey folks, I'm continuing along with my GenCon game reviews. Excuse me. The first RuneQuest scenario I ran was Friday night, 6 to 10. It's called Darkness at Runegate. And it's called Quickstart Demo 2, which is interesting because they use the characters, which are from the Quickstart, but they use the flushed out character sheets from the RuneQuest Role Playing and Glorantha book, but they don't provide the additional material that comes with those characters in the scenario itself, including the monsters. The monsters have certain spells that are not in the Quick Start. So that was a bit frustrating. We also got like just a week before Gen Con, so we didn't have a lot of time to do some real prep on it. So I wasn't able to make pawns for them. So I tried using the old pawns, but again, the Quick Start has 4 plus an optional 5th, but there are 6 characters in the RuneQuest Role Playing in Glorantha pre-gens. And then, so I had to scrounge around for an extra pawn for the extra player, and then I just used some of my monsters from the Broken Tower for the monsters. Well, from Broken Tower and Steam the Eye for the monsters in Darkness at Runegate. Darkness at Runegate starts out pretty brusque. The players show up, although there's no intro on why are the players at Runegate. Whereas with Broken Tower, they start in town and this thing happens, they get told to go on this mission. So that would have been a helpful piece, a hook. But the players get there and the guards are brushed. You can't come in. You need to. What are you doing here? You need to wait. We need for Farios, whatever, the captain of the guard guy, to come up. You can't go anywhere, do anything. Stay out here, wait. And there's some options of making some, options. There are some opportunities for some scan and search roles there, so they can find out some information what's going on. They do see there are smoke coming up from pyres inside the walled town. And eventually, the guy comes up. He's the son of the Thane. He is the Thane. He's the Thane, and his father's the Lord of the town. There we go. And he comes up, and he's been all haughty. He thinks he's all this stuff, and he's got fancy, expensive armor on, and he has his cloak thrown nonchalantly over his armor, so you can see his hands hanging on his sword, that kind of thing. He's got an attitude. And he comes up and asks, "Who are these people?" And if they had explained who they were, then the guards tell him, or not. And then he's, "Who are you and what are you doing here?" And he has heard of these people. This guy, the Thane's got connections with the Grey Dog clan, so he is not impressed. He's very upset. But he's also got this intimidation factor with reputation going on. So he wants to, he's better than they are kind of thing. And so there's this personality clash going on, which goes away fairly easily as things happen. But they're standing there at the gate, right? And then this other guy comes right up and says, Veros, you gotta come with us now. And grabs him and starts pulling him away. And he says, "We're not done with you yet. Come with me." So everybody goes, right? And they go to the center of town's got a number of temples around it. One is to the Lightbringers. And they go inside. There's people out front wailing and gnashing teeth kind of thing, pulling their clothes and beating their chest and screaming and crying, all that kind of thing, right? And they see more pyres, by the way, as they go in. There's gray dust everywhere. And they go into this temple, right? And it's carnage inside. Blood, mud, awful everywhere. Across the floor, up the walls. It's been a massacre. They use a word that means slaughterhouse, but it's a word nobody ever says. They don't know what it means to describe the situation. So there's just, it's the priestess. She's dead. It's the priestess of Shalana Arroy, the healer goddess, right? Pacifist, that kind of thing. And no one would bother killing a healer, right? And all that kind of stuff. So she's dead. There's this wailing going on. The guard says all this stuff, and Virio says, "Truly, we are cursed." But there's no hook on getting the adventurers to actually investigate. So, hey guys, you want to look around and check things out? And so they do, and they find a few things. They find some of these claw tracks that disappear. It looks like they turn into human tracks and go out the building. They don't notice the chaos signs on the wall. A lot of bad rolling on this scenario. They missed a whole lot of stuff. But they see bits and pieces of stuff going on, and then Varios takes them to go see their father. So they go to see the Lord. He's in his longhouse, and you hear this coughing coming from the corner in the darkness. He comes stumbling out. He's a very old man. He's called something the Old. There's some verbiage in there about how he obviously looks very old. So his nickname, again, these are words that nobody understands. It means nickname. Being the Old is appropriate. And he comes out and they discuss things, and he's looking for help. He knows they need help. And they do talk about sickness spirits, and they know that the town's infested with them. Lots of people getting sick. He's heard about people being healed, and there's some questions going back and forth about would this person who's done the healing actually have killed the priestess of healing, some kind of rivalry, that kind of thing. He doesn't know enough about that. So they're thinking this in their head already. And they do some talking and find about the disease spirits. And so they ask me, do we know anybody? Do any of us, can we deal with disease spirits? And there's one PC, the assistant shaman, who can do that kind of thing, but they didn't choose him, so they don't have him. There's like 4 players, remember, right? So Vasana, the cavalry, bison cavalry woman, grabs Arnek? Efron? Shoot. This is the guy with the mount. He's got zebras. And they decide, they ask him, okay, how far away is he? I want to keep it within range of doing stuff, but to seem far enough, there might be some issues, right? Say they give out a day to go and get him and get back, and they decide to still do that. Now, in the scenario, the Lord is on the catastrophic level of sickness, so he's going to die in 12 plus 1d6 hours. That kind of thing. So I had to adjust that. Well, I didn't have to, but I decided to adjust that for after they went got the shaman brought him back. So while they're doing that, the rest of the party they get told about this inn that would be is a decent place to stay, and obviously there are lots of rooms open, kind of thing. And so they go and they hang out there. They try to get some information out of the barkeep. The barkeep's pretty quiet until he starts spending some coin. And they actually, it's rather than just spending coin, just push him some money. And so he does a little bit of talking. They find about the followers. They hear again. Well, they don't hear again. Well, they hear again about this other person who's healing people, supposedly, right? And the followers are people who have been healed. And he mentions about they come in here on occasion. And so they just kind of discuss things and talk. Day goes by. That evening, some of the followers come in. He makes a mention, hey, these are the follower guys. Then he goes back to cleaning glasses. And so they go and they talk with these follower people because one of these guys picked up a disease spirit. One of the players picked up a disease spirit. And so they want to get him healed, right? And so they talk about this with these followers guys. And they go, okay, well, come with us. When we take off, we'll take you to the healer and she'll take care of you. So they take them out to the healer's house. And of course, she is really suspicious about the PCs. And she doesn't really want, adventurers involved in what she's doing here. Because she's actually a worshiper of Melia, the disease goddess, right? And so while she's actually been the person perpetrating the disease spirits around, she has in fact been healing these followers. And these followers still are carriers of the disease spirit. It's just not affecting them anymore. And so you can pick up diseases from them. There are places in town you can pick up diseases from. All kinds of stuff going on, right? But she is an ogre, and she has got some magic that she can cast to help herself out. She's got like Iron Claw 6. Talk about raking people up. But she's, very nervous about these guys going on. She goes, okay, if you promise not to talk about anything that happens tonight, I can take you with us, and we can do the healing, but I need you to sacrifice 10 magic points. And magic points is, if you roll RuneQuest, that's what fuels spells, right? So she's doing this to try and decrease the power of the players, thinking they're not going to do that. But they do. And so she takes the magic points. Now, there's no way for her to use magic points because it goes to Malaya. But so her magic points go down. And I have her do the heal there. I haven't run through the scenario now. I wouldn't have done that. This healing needs to take place at this worship ceremony and out in the forest. So she does the heal there. So he's no longer sick. Doesn't have to make rolls anymore, but he's still carrying the disease. And she leads them out through this path into the woods, into this open clearing, right? And as they get close to the clearing, it's a chaos spot. A drop of the crimson bat had dropped here and killed everything. So there's a small bowl-like crater, completely black and nothing in it. Now there's a little bonfire out there because there's some worshippers, actually a bunch of brew out there. There's a little small bonfire, and then there's a altar to Malaya built out of dead bodies there. As they get close, the players are following along, but as soon as they get close, they can smell the stuff and they know the something's bad. They take off. As they're running away, there's actually a group, 5d6, remember right, of people from town coming because they don't get healed. And so they come in, they do this interaction, and they get some information, but the townsfolk continue on. The PCs run back to town. No, they're back to their house. No, they run back to town. They run back to town, but they don't go to the inn. They go to one of the empty houses instead because they're afraid they're found out at the inn, right? So next morning, they get up. Vasana and Harmas show up with Vishidan, the shaman, and they discuss everything they found out last night. So they go and talk to Varios and his father about what's going on, and so they decide they're going to go investigate this house, and nobody's going to kill her. They need, to take her into custody and find out what's going on, right? They're trying to do this law thing. The Varios, the Thane and the lore, that's their position. So they go to the town, come out of the door. She has a lot because she's concerned about things going on. So she powers up all her magic and books out the back door. They've got 2 guards in the back door. Everybody else out front, a couple trying to flank out the sides. She busts out, throws a couple of demoralize on the 2 guards. They miss their saves. Or actually, she is successfully overcoming their power, and she takes off down the path. Everybody starts chasing after her. One of the guys is a hunter and has a shadow cat, sends it after her. She's got like a round, maybe 2 ahead of them because most of them were in the front of the house. One of the guys stays there with a couple of guards because they're going to get into the house and try and do some investigation in there. Others start chasing down the pathway. She manages, does a couple rounds down the road. We figure out the shadow cat's going to catch a certain point. The cavalry woman on the bison's going to catch at a certain point. But before we get there, she takes off to the side and does a hide. Her stealth's really high. Now the shadow cat has a decent scan and search, but doesn't have any comment, a note about using its smeller to make perception rolls. Yeah, it should be in there, but there isn't. So the cat misses her spot, continues on, gets to a point where it thinks it should have caught up to her and just stops. The sound of the cavalryman catches up, and they just kind of wait there until the hunter who owns the cat shows up, and they all go back. It's just on the way. They don't find anything. She hid pretty well, and they get to the the cabin, and they search. I don't really find anything because not a whole lot of stuff there. It's very sparse. So they decide to go to the worship site, the chaos area, right? Now, this ogre, while she's been hooked up with the brew and has been, doing the disease spirit stuff, has no loyalty to them. And so she's been found out, she's skipping town. So she takes off. So the party gets to the disease spot. There's actually, you have to make constitution rolls because of the stench and that kind of thing. Or they're like -20 for so many rounds. But they're expecting Brew to be there, so they kind of scatter around the outside of the ring. And I put a cave in there because the Brew were going to hang out somewhere, right, during the day, that kind of thing. There's also another ogre in town who brings bodies out for them all to eat. But I could have swore there's a point in the scenario where he comes out either just before the ceremony or before or after the townsfolk or something, right? But I couldn't find it when we got to that point. So, okay, no ogre. So it's just the Brew that are out there. The Brew are in the cave. They find the cave. They go inside the cave. It chokes them down, but then it opens up so they can do some fighting. And so initiative, right? So people start going through, and the Brew have got some magic to boost themselves up. But again, these guys got such low skills. There's two guys that are pretty tough, but one of the players has some kind of spell like madness or something like that drops their intelligence to 0, makes them essentially comatose, and throws it on one of the. There's two big bad brews. I'm one of the big bad brew, so she goes down. And so they corner up on the big brew. The other brew come around, and they slowly just whittle them all down, kill them all off. Nobody really got hurt. A couple of them picked up diseases from the brew, including the shaman. But the shaman does his discorporation, does spirit combat, and heals people, that kind of thing. And they do that with, actually, they did that for the left with the Lord. They went in to heal the Lord, and they were successful with that. But that brought Vishy's magic points down to the point where they were concerned about that happening with them at the end. But at that point, we were just speed rolling through the ending. So, go back to town, they heal everybody up, and they're all good to go and take off. That was Darkness at Runegate. Interesting scenario, but there should have been some secondary and tertiary investigation on if we use these characters fully fleshed out, what are we missing from the Quickstart rules? Magic was the first thing came that was obvious to me, which was unfortunate. So there's a lot of magic that could not go off that could have but didn't, because, and that may have changed things. I'm not sure, maybe. Still a fun scenario. I'm actually going to run Darkness at Runegate for my buddy Ed, who's coming out. He's visiting his son this weekend. They're in Maryland, and he and his son are going to come down to Sons of Player 2. And I got my buddy Grant who's going to come over, and we're going to do some Rune Quest. And I'm going to have him run through Darkness at Runegate. And if we got time, we'll do Stealing the Eye as well. So you guys, happy gaming. You folks, happy gaming.